Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome to this webinar, which is focused on CMT orientation. And we are going to discuss which are specifically related to CMT Chartered Market Technician. Today with me, we have a very special guest. We have Vishal Mehta. And since you are in a trading community or you are taking up technical analysis as one of the areas, I guess you must be familiar with him. If not, I'm going to give you a very small introduction about Vishal, and then we're going to have a quick fireside chat with him. So our guest for and I'll introduce a bit about him, though you might already know. Vishal is a full-time independent trader. He is also a chartered market technician and a co-chair for Mumbai Chapter for CMT Association. Vishal started as a discretionary trader, seeing the benefit of systematic trading and the kind of growth and the kind of alpha you can make. I think he moved completely now systematic trading, and he is now a full-time trader, which itself is a very I guess tough path. But that's why we are here today. We'll try to learn his journey, how he started and what was his way, and then also CMT as a a designation which he earned, I guess, way back. He has a very deep experience in MNCs like Bloomberg, Reuters, which I believe is now Refinitiv, Spider software, which are I guess the top-notch solutions when it comes to charting. And then yes, he has been featured in various places, be it Money Control, financial journals. He has also been representing CMT Association, not just inside but outside the country. And he is trying to expand the reach of technical analysis. He has a very beautiful blog by the name MarketScanner.in. If you haven't, you should, because I personally also visit it at times, and there is a great content out there. So I'll take Vishal now. Vishal, thank you so much for your time today.
First of all, thanks a lot, Lovelish and Dhwani, for giving me an opportunity to interact with you and share my journey as a CMT.
Yes, and I've been, and many people have been looking forward to this. Why? Because you are yourself in a kind of an example. The people who are coming into technical analysis, the path and the road they are taking, I guess it leads to many destinations. It can be yes, analyst and other roles in various firms. But then today we're going to discuss your journey. So to start with, Vishal, I want your just a brief about yourself, and before CMT, what were you doing? How you got exposed to technical analysis? But was that first time?
Okay, interesting. I think so. You can call it like although technical analysis is like now a household name, but way back in 2002 when I graduated, and luckily I've always had a parents who are actually from the trading background. So my dad used to be a broker for Bombay Stock Exchange, so he knew what is trading. But at those point of time, it was a ring trading. So I've seen him going to the ring, doing the shouting out, and if whatever you call it, like open outcry system that you have seen in the scam, the documentary or series, and I've actually seen it live. And when my dad would come back from the shouting arena, his shirts would be kind of crumbled. There will be 2 or 3 buttons out of his shirts. So I kind of relate to it, but at that point of time, it was too new for me. I didn't know what is markets also. But my dad was interacting with his friend called as Kishore, and he was talking about candlestick and everything. So my dad said, you know what, this friend always talks about certain stocks by looking at some, did not give me the name as technical analysis. And he told me, like, you know what, there is a 2-day course that is happening at Bombay Stock Exchange.
Oh,
Why don't you go and attend? And I was just a fresh out of college. Like I did my BSc in statistics.
that is great.
Okay, and like we keep on making a joke out of statistics. Although I'm a BSc stats, but there are three kind of lies in the world: lie, super lie, and statistics. Okay,
Right.
you can prove anything with statistics numbers, but that was. But then I said, okay, I don't like. I was clueless of my career where I want to go. So I said, okay, let me attend all the webinars and gather the knowledge what I want to do with my life. So I went to this course in Bombay Stock Exchange on technical analysis.
Mm.
Interestingly, I did not knew what is trading. I did not knew what is a stock exchange.
Right.
My first course in the capital market was technical analysis.
Great.
And like you can say a boy in the candy shop, do it because I could not understand the numbers. I'm pretty bad with numbers, but I'm always a visual person. I can see things very clearly.
Yes.
And one thing that kind of really, kind of came across to me was whenever the prices were below the 200-day moving average, they were going down. And whenever the prices were going up, about 200-day moving average, it was going up. And I can only think of that thing. It was 2002 and we are talking about 2022. It's 20 years.
2 decades.
Besides that, I forgot everything. But it hooked on to me. And then I started searching for a job because the times were not right and I wanted to get an exposure into the technical analysis. Luckily, I got interested, got interviewed by Spider Software, got picked up. I met up with a lot of traders day in, day out. Like in a day, I would meet 3 or 4 traders. And that actually helped me as a young chap coming into the market because those traders are from a different variety. In the morning, I may be meeting a swing trader. In the afternoon, I would be meeting a scalper. And in the evening, I would meet someone like a funda techno guy. Okay.
Yeah.
And that happened for almost 2 years before I got my MS Finance from Hyderabad ICFI. So it was a very good experience for me. And then I worked with Island FS InvestMart for a small stint. But yeah, that's pretty much about a quick background about me.
Yes. So when you went to this 2-day workshop,
Right.
the kind of and obviously interacting with each other, different kind of traders, I think that added a lot of value when it comes to technical analysis, and then developing different tools, and then
That is so true because see, a lot of people actually, for me, the learning curve kind of got reduced much faster. I still believe I was pretty late in the game of finding out what is my niche. But over a period of time, even in technical, trust me, like, I'm talking about the, young guys who's trying to get into the technical, you need to find your niche. What is your personality? And I met up with Atul Suri. He used to work with Rare Enterprises and he was like only technical analyst sitting out of Rakesh Bhai's office. Okay. So imagine a hardcore fundamental guy and a technical guy sitting, and he told me a very good, interesting thing once I met him at one of the conference. Okay, your technical analysis or your trading strategy, it should be whatever you are as a personality. You can make money. You can make money anyway, but you should stick to your style.
Right.
And meeting a lot of these swing traders, intraday traders, I started getting a lot of ideas, building screeners for them really helped me.
Right. So
I think so. Lovely, there is some, yeah.
Yes, I guess someone was decades almost, and you have seen, I guess, almost every phase of bullish, bearish, and whatnot.
Right.
So after pursuing technical analysis, how did you come to know about CMT, and what made you take that decision? What was the motivation behind that decision? That yes, this is one course, or this is one designation that I need to have behind my name.
Interesting. So did my spider and a reliable software stint. Okay. And then I was the only person in my college who had a 2 years of work experience and coming to an MBA college. Because most of the times, we are very so happy about completing our BCom or MCom and just jumping into MBA college. But somehow things really worked out for me, where I worked for 2 years and then went to an MBA finance. And I actually was the student, but when it comes, okay.
Yes.
So it was a good journey then, but then all of a sudden I started searching for the certification to prove my knowledge, because up till now what I've learned was completely ad hoc. Like I'm meeting a trader, he's talking to me about RSI, and somebody's meeting me talking about ADX, but there was no structured approach of learning a subject. So it was, everything was ad hoc.
Right.
Okay. If somebody comes and tells me, okay, build a screener on volume pro, never had a structured approach. So I thought to myself that I need to have something which is more structured in nature and try to take my career from like basic to the intermediate to the advanced level. And being as technical analyst, there are so many things, so many tools. So I thought a certification would always give me a booster to my career, and which it did brilliantly. I'll tell you how it did it. But it definitely boosted my career to a different orbit, where I really wanted doing a degree like a CMT.
Yes, I guess.
Sorry, I forgot about the history part of it. But then I reached out to CMT. Okay. And I dropped an email. Somehow I did Google search like CFA, what are the degrees available? I'm sure many of you who are listening to this right now is gone through a CMT or heard someone, and having a designation as CMT in the background, you would have got curious, right?
Right.
So I went to Google search, figure out there is a technical analysis society. Drop them a message saying that, hey, you know what? I want to do this course, and why aren't you guys present in India? Like, SAK, Vishal, we have a present, but we are expanding. And they were just starting out at that point of time. They had very few members, and I was just checked before this call, I said, okay, let me check like when did I pass or when did I started my CMT. And interestingly, it was April 2009, where so it's good 13 years back. And I think so I was CMTs at that point of time.
Yes, I believe at that point in time, it would be like count on one hand kind of,
Yes, it was the situation, because nobody knew CMT. It was just coming up at that point of time. They were moving out of US, and India was getting into the radar.
Right. So I believe, yes, I mean, having that kind of a 2 decades and then moving to CMT kind of helped you structure the, knowledge
Learning.
about technical analysis. I guess 2009, it's almost now 12, 13 years. So what was the change that you later on felt? I mean, you would be working with like, top-notch softwares like Bloomberg, Reuters, and whatnot. So I believe, what was the change? And with those tools handy, what was the change in your thought process about trading? And was it one designation that pushed you to independent trading, or were you having that confidence, itself? That's a very big decision, because I guess you need to plan everything from your personal to financial goals, and then all the things. So what was the change you felt after completing the charter? And then how you are now? I mean, how is the journey?
So once I did my CMT, okay, and I kind of moved to Thomson Reuters and Bloomberg. The idea of technical analysis, and somewhere we technical analysts, honest, because people think as a technical analyst is a chartist and just going intraday calls, buy and sell. Okay, people think if he's looking at a chart and everybody like it or not, call them as a technical analyst, which is not the case.
Right.
Technical analyst so much. Once I completed CMT, I realized, okay, I can be an economist, I can be a fundamentalist, and I can be a technical analyst, but by doing CMT. Okay. Dimension, because I was going there, to be honest, for strategies, thinking that after reading so many books, because at that point of time, we never had that one book to decide this is a CMT level 1. We would be given a book of 12 collection and decide the chapters in that, and you have to read through those chapters. So we have to buy at least 9 books or 10 books just to clear one level. Okay.
Yes.
So then we realized that, okay, I'll be reading books and everything. And I thought I will go get started. The technical is not just about buying stop loss and target. It is so much more to that, because in US market, which is a mature market, people are talking about cycles. People talking about flows of money from which asset class to another asset class. They talked about the psychology.
Yes.
They talked about the risk management. They talked about the position sizing, which all are so integral part of a successful trading career. When we are just watching a YouTube channel or just trying to look at the charts and everything. So at the end, when I went to Bloomberg and Reuters, okay, I'm meeting fund managers who are hardcore fundamentalists. And they, with the word of technical, they would run away. Okay. But to my surprise, and which is the most surprising thing, Lovelace and everybody listening, is all the hardcore fund managers also had one chart.
Right.
They would have the price screen, they would have their fundamental research screener or the financial analysis or whatever the page. But there is a technical chart, even though he's a hardcore staunch fundamental investor.
Okay.
That I keep on asking them, like, why are you using charts if you're a hardcore fundamentalist? And they will try to come out with some random reasons and everything. But I somehow knew that even in their fundamental processes, they are looking at the chart investment decisions.
Right.
And once you move to Bloomberg and Reuters, you have a very fancy tools. Like you can talk about market breadth analysis. Like, 52-week divided by 52-week low, with the stocks about 200 and below 200. And these are all institutional level research that we as a chartist just giving by Nifty about 17,840 or something like that doesn't work, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So that completely changed my dimension. People who are hardcore fundamentals, and I talked to them about cycles. I talked to them about the backtesting ideas. I talked to them about a lot of various innovative stuff, which they hooked onto, like relative rotation graph.
Right.
You may be a great fundamental investor. If you're a value investor and momentum player, how the RRG is forming our relative rotation graph, which is a part of CMT now, how the sectors are moving, where the money is moving from and where it is going out. So you can place your, and they loved it. So this kind of knowledge with the tool really helped me to have a very good conversation, even in my trading career. Then I started realizing that I'm good at something and I'm not good at something, which is also a very important thing.
Yes.
Finding what you're not good at is itself is a winning. And I'll give you a very small, kind of thing that I keep on talking to my students and everyone. Is basically, we say that only 10% makes money, right? So if somebody wants to trade and become successful in the market, I just tell them that make sure that you don't lose money. The minute you will not lose money, that 90%, you are already in the 10% bracket.
Yes.
So the wealth lost by 90% of the trader is distributed among the 10% traders. Even there will be a curve, right? 80, like top 10% of that 10% will be making billions and billions of dollars. But if we even feel in the top 50,
yes.
And that was actually a push that got me to start thinking independent.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So I guess if everyone is not aware, at that time I think it was back in 2009, and for a brief amount of time it was MT Association. And yes, usually what Vishal has pointed out, they were given a books of 10, 12 different books, and then you'll have to go through, I guess, each book.
Each book.
Which was related to what Vishal just said, cycles and intermarket analysis. You'll have to look at Martin Pring, then you'll have to look at Charles Kirkpatrick book. So I guess yes, and for every level it was, I believe. Now we do have a sufficed curriculum which has all the chapters, but at that point in time, I guess every book, every level, I guess he would have to read 10 to 12 different books.
Yeah, I had about 20, 30 books, the collection anyways that started. And that actually helped me to build a habit of reading as well.
Yes, yes. That was the I guess phase. And then now I believe Vishal, if you want to just give out few message, a brief message to all the aspirants out there. People generally coming in for CMT are still a bit confused that which role they are going to take in. You take up, they should take it as a trader, or what is the kind of different roles which are available, and what is your view on after or pursuing can add value. So I just want you to give a brief message to all the aspirants, be it level 1, level 2, or level 3.
Okay. Before starting about the message, I really want to set the expectation first. Okay. When I spoke to Vivek Bajaj in one of the interviews, I read in quite a few times that whenever you are doing something, get your why very clear. Why? If your why is not clear, then whatever you are doing is immaterial. Okay. The first why, and I will blame. So if you are somewhere, like if you are doing CMT only for a job, then your why is incorrect. Okay. So yes, CMT is doing all, and I am part of many, many conversations. Okay, I am part of many, many conversations. In fact, I have got one CMT working with me only. I only had CMT or the related. Okay. The thing is, the most important thing is why you want to do CMT. Do you want to just get a degree because somebody had done CFA and you found CFA to be very complicated and say, drop it, let me do CMT, it may be easy. Your why is incorrect. Okay. If you are doing CMT just because your father told to do your degree and you don't want to do anything and you are fascinated about stock market and you're doing CMT, your why is incorrect. I will blame why I said why, because somewhere in my mind also that played out. But lucky for me, I had a background of technical analysis. And somewhere I was not looking for a job based on a degree. I was just looking at a degree for improving myself. And when that happened, my conversation also changed from a typical technical analysis or a chart is giving buy or sell recommendation. When I put out my research report, it had so much of depth into it. Okay. So that's why. Get your why very clear, why you want to do this. Now, once you become why very clear and you are going for CMT, okay, you need to understand of what are the roles that are open for me. So the first role that at least firm like Bloomberg and Reuters, who are a software selling company, they have nothing interested in trading, right? Although they provide the solution to sell you a kind of data. You would not believe I was a charts advocate for Asia Pacific. Okay, I was the head of in their terminal, okay, which is on charting and which is the highest hit function called as G. Okay. And they realize that even though we are selling a lot of financial data, hedge funds are using, but the most used function on Bloomberg terminal is a graph. Just imagine that. Okay, so yeah, they wanted to keep a person who understands chart. CMT really helped me. So when there are products being developed, people will want a CMT degree. That's on the bottom end of the, if you're a technology guy and you wanted to make some money out of it, that's your bottom pyramid, bottom of the pyramid. Right. Let's take second layer up. brokerage houses, okay, they want their relationship manager to have a meaningful conversation. Gone are those days where you would call up a client and say, sir, ye le lo. If you're a relationship manager at a brokerage house, and a lot of people say, you know what, I hate this job, मुझे बेचना है. Boss, आज की तारीख में, let me be very clear, कौन बेच नहीं रहा है? The wealthiest person, Michael Bloomberg, is also selling a terminal, right? He himself went out to the Morgan Stanley and DSP Merrill Lynch and put their Bloomberg terminal and went for and asked for the money. Remember, guys, okay? Even if you become a CMT, job is not going to come in a platter to you. आपको अपने आप को बेचना है. Bottom line. ठीक है? You have to tell why you are good at it. Okay? In that relationship manager positions, okay, you will pick up a phone and if you say, sir, HDFC le lo kyun? Okay? You have to explain them, sir, HDFC ka open interest बढ़ रहा है. It is making a 22 new highs breakout. I can see there is an elite wave count, third wave unfolding. There could be so many reasons on which you are basing your decision. The client will appreciate your knowledge. Your company will appreciate your knowledge. And you yourself will be, feeling that you are adding value to the client conversation. Just not like, sir, le lo na, sir. No, you are putting meaningful content. That's the second layer of a technical analysis. Third layer, you can go and work at a hedge fund. Okay, and I would encourage you also, because we as a technical analyst also moving towards more of systematic side. So rather than just learning CMT, also you can start thinking about some programming language like a Python. You will have so much of an advantage over any other single person. Okay, growing in that scale. I'm lucky enough that at my point of time, the programming language is not in that like requirement. But now, even if I want to go and hire someone, I would require him to know something on the TradingView code or at least Python. At least out of 20 CMT or 30 CMT or 100 CMT, I would filter out top 20 who knows the programming language as well. Because I'm moving towards more systematic. Maybe I'm of that narrow world, but even the curriculum is moving towards more of systematic. Okay. And the last layer, which very few people opt for, is you become your independent trader and trade for your own self and you few friends and families, and kind of live from the trading income, which is the most difficult thing, guys. Trust me, it's not easy. It's the most easiest, and I get multiple Twitter DMs, LinkedIn messages, Facebook messages, WhatsApp, Telegram messages. Sir, I hate my job. I like trading. I want to become a full-time trader. What is your guidance? The answer is no. Okay. Unless and until you are from a wealthy family and your father doesn't care what you do for 10 years, then it is a good profession to be in. But because trading income is not straight income, it will have its volatility. And I'll be brutally honest, I was not successful for good more than 50 to 60% of my career, or maybe 70% of my career. I became successful and profitable in the fag end of my career right now. Okay. But then monetary terms, that like Warren Buffett is compounding his money in the after 50s and 60s. That's where I am kind of started to become more profitable. Some traders become profitable very early. Some traders take time. So these are the, and you can become obviously technical analyst at a brokerage houses, and that is anyways are there.
I think that was as good as it can get, because everyone, I think, because if it's coming from Vishal, I'll be honest, because it's a very small zone of people who are into totally independent trading, and it is I guess journey itself, which is I guess very long. So thanks for those precious words and advice, Vishal. I think that will help a lot of people out here, aspirants out here, to actually decide and know their why.
Why? That is the most important thing. Know your why.
All right. I think that is Vishal here. And thank you for your time, Vishal, today. I know you are on a very tight schedule. So I'll not hold you back. And probably we're going to see you a lot sooner.
Sooner. Yes.
Right?
Thanks a lot, Lovelace. Thanks a lot, Dani, and best of luck to you guys. And the guys, only word of advice is if you are looking and if your why is clear, the CMT is the best course. And just to give you a good idea, India has the highest number of CMT test taker outside of the US. Okay, so all the focus is in India. We as in co-chair of Mumbai, now the India chapter, we are all focusing how we can expand the horizon. How can we get more jobs for you? Obviously, that's the bottom line for every one of us. How we can, kind of interact with each other more, build this community well, and grow together.
Right.
Thank you, Lovelace. Thanks, Dhwani.
Thank you so much, Vishal. Thank you
Bye.
for your time. Bye-bye. All right. I hope I'm still audible. And that was Vishal. So that was, I believe, very brief and very detailed, I believe, as it can get, because a lot of students do come in, aspirants do come in, and probably influenced biases that comes into picture, and have these queries about being a full-time trader or then taking up certain roles, but you're getting the expectations right is very important. Probably some of you are in level 1, level 2, level 3. Each level has its own importance, and I'll take you all through that, but then I'll discuss a few important points which will help you in preparing for the CMT levels. And these are very common sense and yet very specific in nature that can be applied on every level. So MarketFeds is basically formed with an objective of practical implementation. So we are basically official participating prep provider as well. We have various courses which are focused on financial markets coaching, CFA, FRM, and CMT as well. We are also a proprietary firm, so we consume our own research. And we deploy our own money onto it. And we are also into education, so where we train and educate traders. They are, to be very honest, and you'll be surprised, from a very diverse background. Some of them are orthodontists, some of them are doctors, some of them are practicing CAs, and now they are actually taking technical analysis as a tool, which is one of the tools which is actually helping, retail traders or even fund managers, as Vishal said, taking an informed decision. Hi Peter, I've got your questions, so you can let your questions come in. I will be able to help you on that. I have a question. I heard CMT candidates mention level 2 exam is more difficult than level 1 and 3. Is it true? I take your query on that. So that everyone who's in a different level would be able to understand. Let me take you through a few slides. I won't take much of your time. We have only 26 minutes left, I guess. So we'll try to take a few slides, Peter, and then probably I can answer all your queries, even if it is very specific to any topic. So this was Vishal, and myself, I'm Love Sharma. I'm a CMT. I'm a CFT. I'm passionate about technical analysis, quantitative systems, algorithmic trading, charting, system design. So when I say all this, yes, I started with charting. I have been looking at charts, a lot of charts for last 7-8 years. From 2010, I have been into financial markets. So from last 3 years, I'm into full-time trading and also some other roles. I'm a co-founder at MarketFeds. We are focused on technical analysis. As I said, all the professional courses out there. Co-founder at Charter Station, and it's a basically prop trading firm as well. So we are into long short managed futures, where we are deploying a substantial amount of funds on multiple asset classes. It can be it is like derivatives, stock futures, and some commodities. So I have had a brief experience where I was spearheading a team of research firm, and then I was also looking at agri and commodities book for a top broking house. I've featured in few daily and media channels. That yes, I took up CMT. So as Vishal said, yes, CMT, your why needs to be very important. I was earning a handsome salary after 8 years, 7 years of my career, but then yes, my why was basically to go into algorithmic trading and then utilize my technical analysis and experience where I can consume my own research. Skin in the game is what actually was a motivation where I can put my money and make money out of market. So that was one thing. Money is that actually byproduct. I guess learning and process was which happened when I took CMT. So I'm an MBA and CFTE as well. My partner is Gwani. She's also co-founder. She is a hardcore trader and she has been trading for almost like 10 years now. She's also from a Gujarati background and she is completely level 2. Now she's managing Diversify, which is CB registered research analyst firm, and she's handling substantial amount of fund over there. You might have seen her in Chart Summit, Spider. She's featured on ET now and Money 9 and I guess other CNBC Bazaar channels. Um, she also do webinar for I guess Spider and other software providers time to time. So what is basically CMT? CMT is basically a professional course which is offered by CMT Association. Earlier we used to know it as MTA, Markets Technicians Association, and the main idea of having CMT is basically you are mastering a professional body of knowledge where you are learning the skills which are related to technical analysis, and it helps you bridge that particular gap which is there, which you will realize when you have learned, when you have done level 2, level 3 and come out with a charter. So you'll be able to improve on a lot of areas. I believe every word Vishal said is you can be anyone. So my idea of CMT was go into or be independent of my job, but then yes, with the depth of knowledge, the kind of learning curve and all those things improved. So you be it in the hedge fund, institutional research, or be it in brokerage house, where CMT. So if you know, I've got a call and I posted one of the jobs in Discord where there were the main criteria that they need CMT level cleared. They need someone who's into CMT level 2 if it's a mid level or a starting job. So they know that yes, this person is serious about the career a person has chose. So it is CMT. If you're a level 1, they know that yes, at least he has taken this particular course and he is focused. So there are basically three levels. Earlier, you would have gone through it. If you don't, there were books that were given out. There were almost 10, 12 books. And then for Elliott Wave, you'll have to look at Robert Proctor, and then for systems, you'll have to look at Charles Kirkpatrick. For intermarket analysis, you'll have to look at Martin Pring, and then all these things. You need to look at every chapter. Now you are having a curriculum which is given to you with learning objective statements and whatnot, and you get a book uh, to learn all these different things about technical analysis. So if I say like point and figure itself is a different field within, is a different topic within technical analysis, and it can take you years actually to come to a point where you know each and everything about point and figure and how you can use noiseless charting and make a trading system out of it. So that is the most important part when you're learning through level 1, level 2, level 3. You'll know your why, and you will be able to answer your why, but then as well you would be able to make yourself familiar with topics which you feel you are comfortable with. It's not just about systematic trading, but it can be Elliott wave. Some of the best projections for any market is done by someone who has a very, very good knowledge about Elliott wave, and you'll have to take their word very seriously. So there are different fields which are out there when you are going to learn about technical analysis. So there are study methods and how you can use those study methods for your CMT. Much of the technical analysis which you know right now, if you're in level one or probably in level two, uh, has come through your experience about your job or about your trading or through your social media. A lot of things come through different sources to you, right? But then those are often obviously incomplete. You might look at some snapshot out there of an equity curve or of a trade with some profit, and this was the days and this was the profit I made. So that is still incomplete because it's not going to help you anyway to make a sustained long career, be it in any field. You take up the course and then you are going to study say random pages or say topics which is actually not a logical approach. For me the logical approach was each time you get a yes new idea, your mind makes several links to your existing ideas. So probably you're going to turn to different pages, you learn something about volume, and then you take that idea and keep it in your mind, and then later on when you try to uh, remember it, uh, you might not be able to recall it because that is not the right approach. What CMT program does, it takes from theoretical framework in academia by behavioral finance through an applied learning of elements of technical analysis. So in level 2, level 3, you would realize how behavioral finance is going to come into play, and you're going to learn about all the biases, everything, which even I wasn't aware of when I was, putting money. And then uh, learning through CMT has made me identify those mistakes and how I shouldn't do mistakes. So there is a big difference that you are doing mistake or you shouldn't do. If you are like, as Vishal said, if you are not able to lose money, you would automatically shift slowly to that 10% of the people who are making money. And then, yes, there are different zones, top 10% or 20%, but at least shift of losing money, of increasing the knowledge will push you out of that zone, and practicing it daily will push you towards those 10% people who are actually making money, or providing that kind of research, actionable research, I mean, where you are confident enough to take
Yeah,
it. Uh,
yeah.
keep yourself muted if you are not.
उपर जास्त आहे का? हा,
So, when I say actionable, you should be able to deploy a substantial fund that, yes, this is the idea behind the research, this is the hypothesis, this is the basis, be it any tool within technical analysis you're using, and you're able to deploy that money with the confidence. That is one thing. Study methods, again, going through random things isn't going to help you. There are two ways to study: topical study, linear study. Usually topical study is where you involve mind maps, spidergrams that start with notes in the middle of a book. Someone's going to come and ask me, and this is actually very usual. People who are redoing CMT level 2, level 3, or level 1, they're going to come to me and have questions like, should I take charting as a section, or should I take from level 2? I've already read them in level 1. So will it help me? And then later on, I should go on to different sections or cover section 4 or 5 in level 2. And I've already read 12 chapters in level 1, and some of them are quite common in level 2. So should I skip those? These are the most common mistakes, and it's not going to help you. Either way, you're not going to in terms of meaning, similarity, or hierarchies, or importance, or association. So probably you have learned volume in section 1, and then you're going to learn about volume in section 3 or section 2. There is a big difference. What you have learned in level 1, the use of volume, and what you learning in or you're reading in level uh, 2 about volume. What is it about level 1 that you need to learn, that you need to know, what is expected out of you to know after you read level 1 book, and what is expected out of you when you read level 2. And level 3 itself is like, um, by the time I completed level 3, I was already having two systems in place that were on automation. So that's the way I made best utilization of pursuing this course. So you're focused on topics with higher weight and their likelihood as discussed, So you're using function of probability. Is not going to help. Linear study is something we suggest at MarketFeds. What we do is take chapter, then there is a chapter, then there is a topic. What is the LOS? Each topic has subtopics. Each subtopics has different keywords, different definitions, different ideas, and not just ideas. Some trading strategies are there as well. So I will take those ideas, like we can show it on chart system or show it on a code that how this is done. So it's a process of writing information in order when I'm talking about linear study, and paper is itself two-dimensional. So linear notes follow the natural sequence of time. That is, you build your base, you then build further on it. So whatever you have learned on, say, chapter 36, I believe, or level 2 last chapter is on about system testing, and level 3 first chapter is about systems testing and design. How do so it's like taking a backdrop of your idea, and then on this backdrop, I'm going to create something. Or I have learned about bar chart patterns in level 1, but then the same chapter is there in say level 2. But then there is a key difference in the learning, because level 1 is all about terminologies and basic concepts, but level 2 is more about getting practical hang of that particular thing. Go by chapter, we go by topic, we discuss it out, we talk it through. And since I am committing my personal time as well, so I am learning as well in the due course of time. And then that's the time when you give a birth to a trading idea, or an idea which you can take further and do some research. So you going through this sequence of time, numbering, and have multiple access points to that knowledge. So when I say volume, how do you analyze volume? In one chapter, you can say that you want to look at volume when it is higher than certain periods n days ago, and with some price condition. I learned this about volume, but then at the same time, if you have read it thoroughly, you'll have to analyze volume in the same time frame, in the same time period, if you are an intraday trader. So if I'm looking at volumes after 230, I'll have to look at volume of previous day before 10 or after 230. So this is very thin line between how you apply. Usually you want to look at volume, say, okay, it has to be 10 times or 5 times of certain period, certain days ago. But then when you're coming down to intraday, what was there written about volume when you're coming on to intraday? Should I apply this rule? Or if I'm applying volume on intraday, so there is a pattern of volume if someone has known. So this is like, a trading usually has a this curve kind of a, so you can look at it, and probably you're gonna see a lot of action in first few minutes, and then later on few minutes. Can we create certain strategy based on this? Certainly you can. I have created this, and so that is how ideas come into play when you learn through linear programming. I've got a solid base, and I know when to switch from one to second or to third. This also gives you a framework to follow while collecting or accessing information from your face. Then you are actually putting every information properly in a folder, and when I'm talking about on a daily time frame, I'm going to use volume in this way. And when I'm talking about intraday, where I'm a purely a price action trader, I'm going to use volume in certain way, which is going to give me a signal, or which is going to tell me that what kind of a day is it? Is it a breakout day? Is it a sideways day? Which is the kind of strategy should be deployed on an intraday basis. Linear study with topical study, mind maps, and spidergrams is optimal. So yes, we do give you certain handouts, spidergrams, all these things. So you'll have handy notes as well. There are certain traps, and let me clear all the things. Assumptions about technical analysis. One of the mistakes why people fail or are is that they think they know technical analysis. But that is not the case. Even after 7 8 years, like Vishal completed in 2009 2010, and he pointed out very correctly that after practicing 8 years into top-notch organizations or such, he used CMT to increase his learning and have that structured approach. I myself got into market in 2010. I took CMT district. I took decision to pursue as soon as I was out of level two. So the decision was based on one thing, that was to structure my approach about technical analysis. A lot of about assumptions about our technical analysis comes from Twitter, Facebook, Instagrams, or our own idea, what we have read randomly. If price is doing this, I should go long, short. What? So these are assumptions. You'll be surprised to know that in every technical analysis, you'll have to unlearn and then relearn. If I am teaching you, say for example, and something about certain thing, then having that discussion, that what is your idea, and then sharing my idea of it is a different thing, rather than I coming on to you and give you uh, uh, all the things that is there in the curriculum and then mixing it with your prior knowledge. It's going to mess up. It's going to mess up. Uh, the best thing about being good in something is there's too much information out there. So selecting which information is useful and selecting which is not will make a big difference in your career, in your trading journey, and especially about technical analysis. I've got a few questions. So yes, I'll just take 2 more minutes, and then we're gonna take all the questions. It will be one-to-one discussions. So if you have your time, if you have extra discuss everything. But let's just end this slide and we're gonna take your questions. So these are traps. Um, Assuming you have passed some other professional examination certificates. So I've got. Uh, uh, I would request please keep yourself on mute. We can open the mic once I'm done. Uh, you will be surprised. I've got an orthodontist. I've got one of the person who person who was inquiring, he was a CA as well. He is a practicing CA. He has been practicing for 7 years now. He is almost now an FCA, I guess. In CAs, there is this now. And so, but they want to learn. So they are coming to take CMT. Know that technical analysis of full of cognitive traps. Candidates are prone to make the study mental errors. So yes, I had this one student who was doing FRM. He was also and then he took CMT as well. While doing CMT level 2 back in 2021, he was doing FRM level 1 as well. So yes, he was a bit, it was a bit tough to not focus on FRM content at one point in time or CFA content, and then just focus on uh, um, can you mute yourself? Right. So these are cognitive traps as well there. You learn about cognitive traps and patterns that most of us tend to fall into day to day. I think I knew about volume. I think I knew about flags. I think I knew about, if you are a hardcore trader, you would know bullish mat and hold. I've traded it, and now I'm utilizing this one pattern very good. For example, say what is as this bearish candlestick pattern. How differently can you imagine bearish engulfing? And is it a pattern? Can this pattern be profitable? It's a very common pattern. Usually, someone who's practicing technical analysis um, and looking at charts every day might let it go. But can you actually code it and make certain strategy out of it? Definitely you can. If you are as creative as you can be with price, are you looking at price in one way or are you looking at price in various ways? And probably harnessing volatility. So there are various things come into play when we talk about technical analysis. How is your way forward? Elements of formula rather than memorizing the formula, purpose or function of formulas. What is the purpose? So if you are using, like I was just discussing a person this morning, and it was almost 4 hours of discussion on Zoom, and we were discussing certain strategies. So like MACD and moving average crossover is the same thing. Or if you're going to use uh, one trend indicator, so you cannot use like MACD and moving average. You might want to, but then both have similar purpose to identify trend. So that is one thing, and understanding the basic hypothesis, basic say behind hypothesis behind the indicator is one thing, and then applying it is a different thing. Unlearn, relearn should be the approach as discussed. Possible gaps in knowledge about technical analysis which you need to fill, and also extra knowledge which you need to unlearn, and probably mm, learn that RSI 14 in its simple scale of 75-30 can also make money. And if you need to twist it and use a different, what should be the that and how to actually twist it, why to twist it, what would be the trading scenario when you're twisting it. Emphasize certain subjects topic much more than others. um, Keep smaller goals, achieve them to make a winning mindset. Remember the designation is earned. So I myself have on this, and yes, it's something which you cannot take for granted, because probably if you have taken a decision to do CMT, is probably something which you need to revisit. Why did you uh, take that decision, and what was the basic motivation behind that decision, be it career change, be it career enhancement or advantage, be it increasing the knowledge, and or be it becoming that trader and whatnot. So you need to revisit that motivation. So these are the introduction of every level. Probably you would have known level 1, level 2 is 4 hours, level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 3 is all about integration, while level 2 is all about theory and analysis. Level 1 is introduction. These are the section wide ways. It's available on the CMT Association website as well, and then there are different weightages which are given. But yes, something is 23% doesn't undermine the market knowledge. So reader, like for example, as a analyst as well, it's important for you to understand what's your time frame, or what's your trading universe, or what's your trading weapons, or what's your trading goal, how much your expectations are. Are you someone who's looking to make those 7 8 figures, or are you looking at someone who's looking to make 25 30% CAGR with certain acceptable amount of latter one? And obviously that makes more sense. There are subdomains of topics, and then yes, there are LOS which are very important. You act as your guide, most important concept in chapter, then make notes of your LOS, and then LOS should be utilized effectively and efficiently. So these are all the things. I won't discuss all these questions here, but yes, I'll give you something which we do at MarketFeds. We are basically the official. So probably what you have is, I guess this is an old slide, but what you look at is something like, say, uh, I guess it is open. Something as simple as this, which we are going to talk about in our, every chapter has a slide, and all the slides are given our time commitment. I myself, I'm a trader, so I give each Saturday, Sunday, I take 3 different classes. I give myself my time, my knowledge as well, and then obviously learn from others as well. I was talking with one person. He is practicing Elliott waves. He's trading derivatives, and we had a very good conversation about 30 35 minutes. So he was looking. He actually was practicing Elliott waves for last 2 3 years. He's in a very good, comfortable job position. He has been practicing Elliott waves for 3 years, and now he's taking a decision to take CMT. So I learned few things from him, and then obviously he is learning few things from me. So time commitment is very important. We do it on Saturday, Sunday. We give our personal time. We share our personal uh, times where we discuss what are the rules, so we take the idea, we see if it is working or not. Even something as simple as moving average, this can just make money. I believe yes, if you use it wisely. Uh, then we give you test papers. There are exam relevant sample papers, mock test, which is there, WhatsApp and email, notes for every chapter. So we don't give out everything to you. This is something, it would look like this. So it is like all the chapters in there and everything. But then having all these at discretion is not going to help you. We give it one at a time. We take a chapter, we discuss it. The best part about everything is that you'll have all this content, all the access to recorded videos. So suppose in 1 week we have covered certain part of a chapter, and then recording them. So you practice those chapters in that particular time period of a week. So in a week you might want to just look at 1 or 2 chapters. You come up with your doubts, you come up with your ideas, you come up with your queries, then we discuss and then we move forward. So probably feeding the information which is discussed, which is necessary one at a time, is important rather than giving you all the content at once. And the best part is it's available on mobile app. You can access the PPT, you can access the slides, you can access the decks. But till where we have completed, once we are completed all the chapters, you'll have access to all the recordings, you'll have access to all the PPTs, and then you'll have access to all the mock tests. So we'll take up mock test at times and then complete it. That is the way we do at MarketFeds. Okay, classes from one question was there from 19th of February 2022 and total 32 sessions, 2 hours each. That's the 64 hours of content. And yes, if you register in next 24 hours, you'll get 10% off. I'll take some questions now, which has been long overdue, but then I'll take them one by one. Hi, Peter. I have a question. I've heard candidates mention level 2 exam is more difficult than CMT level 1 and 3. Is it true? Level 1, level 2, level 3. I believe every single level has its own purpose. So what every level is doing is making, you know, developing a body of knowledge. So level 1 is all about say theory or basic terminologies around it. But then level 2 is about theory and analysis. So there are two components to it, your theory and analysis. This is a classic trap usually people fall into in level 2, that they the chapters is pretty much same and but it's every level has its own importance. Level 2 is obviously yes, because then you're tested in terms of your analysis. And that's what I said, some of the chapters in level 2 are same from level 1. So people get trapped that thinking I've already read it. So let's focus on some different sections. And that is one of the traps which usually people fall into. Level 3 is obviously toughest because it's the to your charter. So yes, I believe if someone can make the best optimum use of each level is to learn what is expected out of them. Each level has its own importance. Level 2, level 3, even level 1 is very important because a lot of practitioners out there are not knowing what the basic terminology is. So for example, we discussed volume. So people who are coming new, they'll feel that this is something very different, yet every level is easy if you learn it. Python course is mandatory. See, I think the point he was making is I myself am from a non-technical background. I'm a Bachelor of Commerce, then an MBA, then CBRA, CBNS, and then CMT, CFT, MCX commodities. And then right now I'm having trading infrastructure, which is built on AMI Broker and Python. I also use or code my idea, create a prototype and test because I believe data feed for Indian market is free, but yes, I have a pro version. So um, I use TradingView. So I know all the languages. So this is one thing which I need to learn, obviously, because I'm a systematic trader and I want to click and look at the market or monitor the strategy, right? So I learned different languages. My one of the options book which I'm developing is into Python. So yes, I had to learn it because I wanted to reduce my slippage and I wanted faster execution. So I'm moving to Python for that. If I'm coding something, I want visual appearance and test prototype. I'm put it in TradingView. So languages, yes, this is one thing which is in demand and it is expected from a systematic trader. If you're an elitist or if you are a discretionary trader who and put money, then I don't think language is mandatory. But yes, as Vishal also said, this is something which is developing, being into systematic trading where you are managing money and making informed decision. I don't think age factor or specific background for charter. I believe yes, work experiences, but there is no specific background. So I have seen people who are CAs or people who are doctors take a specific background is a prerequisite. All you need is that motivation why you are learning technical analysis. So that is what is going to drive you and take all the levels. Still, you can visit CMT Association website and check out. The only requirements are there in charter when you apply for it, and certain sponsorship and certain amount of time of experience. Vishal, it's not necessary. I'll make one thing very clear. Usually, people come to me. There is one person who is doing level two. He's from the same city and he's discussing about to learning language. So, if learning a language such as Python or Ami Broker or trading you Pilot script or open end or language, if that would have made money, then every engineer out there or a technical expert out there would have been millionaire. What these languages are a tool. So I'm myself from a non-technical background, but then for a brief amount of time, for last 5 years, I've been learning and practicing languages. So yes, when I am teaching students, I do take them to code a strategy. I test it, which is based on curriculum which we do and which we have done in CMT level 3, at times level 2 as well. We code it, we test it, and test it on certain trading instruments. So it also important what is the market you're looking at. Certain markets are mean reverting, certain markets are trending, certain are volatile, and so these are actually right, which is going to enhance, which is going to add advantage if you're taking CMT for a career change or a career progression. Or for me, learning language was for me that motivation was I wanted to reduce my slippages, I wanted faster execution, and I wanted to basically look at options book. So I needed to learn Python. So that's why I'm learning it. It's a vast language. Even if you can get a 3% language, that should suffice, and that should give me what I am seeking to automate a strategy and take it live. That is the sole purpose. Then utilizing the technical analysis with that language, how you going to implement is what the you know uh, main recipe is, the main ingredient of the recipe. Does MarketFeds provide such mind map diagrams for the CMT prep course, or everything? Peter, we do everything. Since I said I commit my own time on Saturdays and Sundays, it's actually learning experience from me. You won't believe that certain strategies which I am deploying, I have discussed that you need to be that creative. You need to be that one-to-one communication needs to be very good. You need to be as open as you can. I would be sharing as much as I can. We provide all the content. We provide all the subtopics, definitions, and whatnot. Live examples. We discuss charts. We discuss everything. We discuss free strategies which are available out there, how they are shown as profitable, and then how we just change certain things and how they collapse. So I think all this is discussed. How not to look at certain things which are available for free or certain things which are there on social media, and how what is the basic. These are all the ways we discuss. We do provide everything. So it's like the best use, I believe, is learning from me and I learn from you, because I'm consuming my own research. I'm deploying my own money and I'm using that. And then obviously I have certain other areas which I'm focusing on as well, where we are managing long short futures fund. But then yes, we deploy money, we make uh, good use of our time. Best use you can, the best use of having live classes, you can discuss. You can learn in a live class, and probably if you have are keen to learn, you can make a note out of it. But we do provide everything. You won't need, I guess, anything outside from outside, because the content we give is more than sufficient enough for you to prepare yourself. Have the classes started for level one for the June? No, what we do is, Sakshi, I think this is answered by Vani out there, but we try to complete it within certain time period for level one, level two. Level three is all about practical implementation. So for level three, there is a lot of amount of time we give till the exam date, and but we try to make you free uh, in mid of May. So you have good amount of time for revision. You have good amount of time to organize your thoughts or normal self, and know that you have every information that is needed to clear the exam in your mind in an organized way. I think, Sakshi, there is, experience requirement. If you're going to complete all three levels, well, I hope you do. But what you can do is, while completing all three levels, you can look out for certain opportunities into the area of finance, or which is related to, uh, you know, taking investment decisions. So CMT Association has their website. They give a brief outline. We actually help our students from level three to take charter, and then also help them in getting a sponsorship in level one, level two, or level three. We share opportunities which are out there for from organizations which are candidates with this background, and they want certain CMT candidates level one or level two, or be it level three clear. So we do share that on regular basis. Well, I cannot share exact exam pattern, but yes, there is LOS which is given by the CMT Association. Exam pattern is also available there. It's like a 4 hour question. In one level there will be 140. In one level there will be there will be different set of questions. So exam pattern changes a bit in every level, but then yes, the main idea behind every level is what is expected out of you to learn from level. So if level one is all about theory, level two is going to be theory and analysis. Those are different components. Level three is all about integration, technical analysis. I made the most out of level three, a lot, and I think that was also helpful. What's the timings for CMTL2? February 19th, and then yes, classes are going to be from Saturdays and Sundays. We'll be needing your 2 hours every Saturday, every Sunday. We're going to learn from each other, as simple as that. Our recording lectures available, those will be available. So you'll be shared. You'll have access to that on your mobile phone and your desktop as well. That's the best part about it. No more questions, I guess. That sums it up. Questions, guys? I guess
Uh, I was looking for the timings. So I think it starts from Feb 19th. What are the timings for level 2? Is it evening in the morning?
no, if we want to do it in the evening, you know that it would be weekend. So yes, you might have certain time commitment, but it is usually mostly in the mornings,
Okay.
and Sunday too in the morning, so that you have certain time of the day.
Recording lectures are available or not?
They will be available. Recording lectures will be available. Recording lectures, PPTs, diagrams, PPT decks, PDFs, mock test exam. Once we finish all the content, all the chapters, I mean, everything will be available on your mobile app and on the desktop as well. I think that. So this is from me, and yes, these are the various chapters which is there. Um, I guess I answered most of the questions, and then yes, I think this was the idea behind today's webinar that was focused on CMT orientation. You are most welcome to reach out to the numbers given here. Myself conduct or have one-to-one conversation. People who are in business, people who are practicing CA, people who are actually in a career, they're looking for opportunities, and you can look at I guess these numbers given on chat, which is over here. These are the classes timings, and I'll note down my number over here. You can connect to me here, and you can also read. Have any doubt, I'll be happy to help. All right, I think this sums us up, and I'm gonna take your leave. I hope this webinar was helpful for you, and having Vishal and his experience has solved a lot of your queries, and this was about us and MarketFeds, how we do everything for level 1, level 2, and level 3. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.